Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Well, check out Deal to Heal Teas. With our inspirational teas, you're sure to find something that will inspire you. Just go to dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. That's Deal to Heal Teas. Get some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tea and be inspired all day. That's Deal to Heal Teas at dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. Hey guys, this is Earnest James, host of the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, and I got a question to ask you. Could you buy me a cheeseburger? Better yet, could you buy me a value meal? Yes? Well, guess what? I don't need a value meal. However, for the cost of a value meal, you can support this podcast to keep us on the air. Just go to Patreon/Deal to Heal podcast and choose any one of the 3 tiers that's available. And if you just want to make a one-time donation, go to Cash App and make a donation to $eJames, the number 418. Make a one-time donation to the Cash App, or again, go to Patreon to support this podcast and keep us on the air. Thanks in advance. Be blessed. Welcome to Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. On this podcast, my guest and I will discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can live a life that is happy, healthy, and whole. So I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I am your host, Earnest James, and I believe that everyone can live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. To deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Thank you guys once again for joining us on the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. If you haven't already, please listen, like, subscribe, and share. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube page and also on our Facebook page, because we can be able to communicate better with you on the Facebook page, let you know of all the other things that we have going on besides the podcast and in junction to the podcast. So we have a lot of extra stuff going on besides the podcast that you can be involved in. Definitely follow us on that on YouTube and Facebook and all your other platforms, Instagram, TikTok. We're on everything. So hit us up. All right. All right. Thank you guys very much for your support. And today, just like any other day, we are blessed with a guest. Miss Robin, how are you?
I would say I'm excellent, but I'm getting better. I heard someone else say that. I was like, I'm going to use that.
I'm excellent, but I'm getting better. Okay. Yeah. That's a different outlook on it. Mm-hmm. Cool. So, Miss Robin, we're going to jump right into it. So what I want you to do for starters, introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us exactly what it is that you do.
What I do. So my name is Robin. I am a nutritionist entrepreneur. So I like to say that I help people use food and nutrition to live their best life. And I do that in a wide variety of ways. So folks can kind of visit my website and look into that. But I'm just very passionate about helping people use food to heal and to thrive and to feel good.
Yeah. And I know sometimes what we eat, especially now with the pesticides and all the extra stuff that they put into our food, is definitely doing a number on our bodies. I know myself with that, what is the corn syrup? The corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Some of my favorite soft drinks that I love, I can't have no more. Because that brown syrup is not agreeing with my body no more. So I'm like, I can't have it no more. Or if I do, I can't have it in moderation, not like I used to. And I have to drink water after it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of wash it down. So that works for me. So, Ms. Robin, if you could, nutritionist. First of all, I've never met a nutritionist,
Have you
so
never?
I've never.
Really? Okay. Here
This is
I
my
am.
first time.
Wow. Okay.
So, if you could, I really, you could tell me what a nutritionist is because I don't really know. I kind of know. I can't. Well, I kind of have an idea, but I
Okay.
don't know what a
Mm-hmm.
nutritionist is.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little backstory on even how you came to choose that line of work.
To choose a line of work. The line of work chose me. I would say that this is not what I thought that I would do with my life. This is initially not what I went to school for, but I was overweight, pre-diabetic, and I had a baby. And I thought, okay, I don't know how to feed her. Like I eat how my mother ate, how my father ate, and I want to be useful to this child that I'm bringing into the world. And for that, I just started to study what food. I never ate vegetables. I had no clue. And that started me to looking into food and nutrition. And I thought, I have it all wrong. I have everything that I'm eating is not serving me. And what I realized from starting to study nutrition prior to changing the career and going to school is I realized that food will either kill you or keep you alive. That the illnesses and diseases that we face are due in part to what we put in our mouths or what we don't put in our mouths. And when I got that, it really changed my life. And I did a few simple things, and my blood sugar balance, the pounds came off, and I felt amazing. My confidence level changed, and it was a domino effect. I did that, and then other parts of my life just started to open up. And I heard God say to me, because I asked this question, like, how I'm a nutritionist, because people started to ask me, could I help them? And I'm thinking, no, I'm not a nutritionist. Like, what? And that's when I started to study and get certified. But God said, I'm putting you here for a reason. And I kept thinking, why me? Like, it's not like I'm the most disciplined person. It's not that I, grew up in a, loving food and nutrition, but it is a way to heal. And through that, it's a space of personal development because we're so personal with our food. When I started working with clients and I started to realize when you're shifting their food, you're dealing with their feelings, their habits, their environment, their comfort, emotions, so many things. And it became, and it is, and it has been an amazing journey looking in or getting intimate, if you will, in the lives of other people through their food. So I help people figure out how they want to look and feel, and then help support them through food to do that. So
Yeah.
that is.
Right. And and I can definitely understand it because even now when I think about, just in my own family,
Mm-hmm.
growing up with my grandmother was from down south,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so we had a good soul food cooking,
Mm-hmm.
and which always is not the most healthy for you,
Right.
and
Right.
then even to think about, the physique in which my grandmother had,
Yes.
and even my mother had. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I look at some of my family members, and it's like, okay, we got the extra arms. It's like, well, I don't want that, and different
Mm-hmm.
things that you don't want.
Yeah.
But like you just said, if I think about if you're eating what grandma was eating, and that's what grandma had, and
Right.
then you're eating what mom was eating, and that's what mom had, you're gonna get the
That's
same
what you
thing,
do.
you
Yeah.
know.
And it becomes part of your culture, and it
Mhm.
becomes very difficult to, I can tell you this, when I started shifting the way that I ate, then people had comments about it. Cause you go to someone's house and they're like, eat this, or, that's, it's warm and fuzzy. That's a way to welcome you. And then if you say, I don't eat that, or no, thank you, then they're like, what, bougie, or, it changes. So I had a lot of pushback at first with that shift. Yeah.
Yeah,
And people
and
don't
I
like it.
know I know one thing I heard a while back that's kind of stuck with me, which is kind of one of the reasons why just culturally we
Mm-hmm.
deal with weight and sicknesses due to how we eat, is
Mm-hmm.
because first of all we're not eating healthy enough. That's
Mm-hmm.
number one. But then the second part is that, as was a quote that I heard, was that all of our major celebrations all involve food, all
Yeah.
of them. And
Everything.
so if everything we do to celebrate involves food, and then the food that we're eating is not healthy, then
Mm-hmm.
it's continuously, not just on a day-to-day basis, but every season we're indulging in something that's not good for us
Yeah.
as a
Yes.
culture.
As a culture, and it is designed that way. It is by design that it is that way. And I think about like funerals, right? We
Mhm.
bury someone, and they may have passed for issues that we're eating the same food that we're celebrating their life or their
Right,
passing with the food that got them there.
right.
And it's a tough road to climb, because it's saying I have to change everything, my culture, how I celebrate, how I relate to other people, and that's difficult because it's like changing who you are.
Mhm.
I think also, and it's not an easy fix for sure. And
Right.
then and we'll talk about this, but even in this time now where we're struggling a lot mentally, of just our society, and the food that we eat can decrease some of the chemicals in our brain that we need to be happy. So we,
Mhm.
unbeknownst to us, right? We eat something because our body says, I like that, I want that. And then behind the scenes, it is decreasing some of our, we'll call neurotransmitters, but things that in our brain we need to feel good, and we don't associate the two. We don't
Mhm.
realize the chemicals are doing a number to us. We just want that thing. And with it's like people ask me, because I don't tell anybody don't eat this, don't eat, that. Nobody, that I don't want to say. What I want to say is do eat these things. And I call it empowering foods. So I always want folks to have a list of foods to eat daily, to put into their diet. It's like one simple change. I like to say, you don't have to do everything all at once. Just do a few things, and I can share some of those foods with you if you'd like. But these are things I
Definitely,
say,
definitely.
yeah. So in no particular order, and I'll say this, just those that are listening, just start including these foods. And you might say, oh, I like these foods, or I already eat these foods. So start with including these foods, and here are some foods and why. So and this, some people might be vegetarian, vegan. I'm just giving you a list, right? So fatty fish could be salmon, right? And that helps with the brain. There's essential fatty acids in there. Dark chocolate, fermented foods. Like, what are fermented foods? So it would be like, some people have never heard of this. People have heard of yogurt. So there's
Mhm.
food called kefir, miso. Bananas are good. Berries, oats, leafy greens, um, protein. So a lot of times when we eat, and I want to say this is important. So a lot of times we eat and we are eating carbohydrates. So we'll eat, let's say, French fries, or we'll eat bread or pasta, and we don't have a protein source: chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, tofu. We Those two go together to balance our blood sugar. And when our blood sugar is balanced, our body is balanced, and our mind can be balanced, and a lot can happen in our body. But the food has to do with our mood. And then I say nuts and seeds. So having nuts or walnuts, just little things, leafy greens. I didn't eat for years. I'm 47. I didn't start eating vegetables till I was 30, like
Mm.
raw vegetables, or real, I would eat like out of a can, or
Right.
green beans at, the holidays. But having vegetables every day, I do not go a day without a vegetable. Um, I'm going to say this because I say this, and I'm known to say this, is a lot of folks don't have regular bowel movements. So I'm going to say this because I want to paint this picture for those that are listening. that you want to have, and I say this and people do not believe me when I say it, but you want to have as many bowel movements as you eat a day. So if you eat 3 times a day, then you want to have 3 bowel movements a day, because whatever you're eating, the body's going to take the nutrition and then everything else is waste, right? Takes what it needs and throws the rest out. But if you're not having a bowel movement, it's not throwing the rest out. And the waste is being reabsorbed into your cells, into your mind, into everything. And it becomes, your body becomes toxic. And if you're toxic, then there we go. It's hard to think, be, behave, reach goals, all of those things when your body is off. So those bowel movements are significant and important to get the stuff out of your body. But if you don't have vegetables and fiber, you ain't gonna have regular bowel movements. So
Yeah,
we'll see that.
yeah, and that makes sense. And I know, again, just going back a little bit, what we are mentioning about with just how our the things that we eat and how much is connected to us, and even our personalities and our moods. Because when I think about moods, because I know you said chocolate, and I was kind of made me go,
Yeah, right?
just the thought, just chocolate
I know.
made me myself perk up a little bit, and I'm just thinking about
Right.
it.
Mhm.
That the foods that we eat at different time periods, because even when we think about like the romantic comedies or whatever, when you got your comfort food, and so you're
Yeah.
eating, there's a breakup in the movie, and then they're eating all the ice cream or whatever, so
Mhm.
we have these different foods that we're eating, you know
Yeah.
uh based on how we feel in
Yep.
that moment, but also some of the things that we're not realizing that we're eating, that we may be eating now just to be eating, but it's affecting how we're going to feel later. Like
Yes.
you said, with the things that you're eating, and not realizing that is cutting off some of your
I really.
mental capacities, and definitely in this space that we're in now, we need all our mental
We need it
facilities
all.
working.
Yeah, imagine. I mean, imagine the reality is that a lot of us are eating, and I'll say this again, foods that are working against our mental capacity, but we eat them daily and we
Mhm.
have no idea. And so people might say, well, which foods are working against my mental capacity? So foods that work against your, well, let me just say this. If we're not putting, and I'll just go back to fruits and vegetables, if we're not giving our body enough nutrients, which is highly dense in fruits and vegetables, right? The fruits and vegetables go into the body and get into our cells and do wonderful things. If we're not giving our body enough of those foods, but we're enjoying the foods that we enjoy,
Mhm.
those other foods, the the foods that don't support her, it's going to take over,
Right.
right? It's going to take over. So the foods that diminish our body chemistry and our mental uh, capacity and all those things would be the foods we like the most, which would be sugar, processed foods, and fats. And you ain't going to hear me tell you not to eat those, because there's a time and a place for that. But again, if you are not giving your body the nutrients and you're just giving it the fun foods, then you're going to be off kilter. When we think when we're hungry, we're not sitting thinking, oh, my bodies need vitamin A and B's, and we just like, I'm hungry, give me whatever, or
Mhm.
give me something.
Right.
And I have to say, when we're hungry, know that your body needs a couple of things. It needs the nutrition for your body to function, and then your stomach wants something, but your body needs certain nutrients to function. You will not function over time. You will deteriorate if your body doesn't get the nutrients, regardless of what you're craving. I also know that the more nutrition you give your body, the more nutritious food you give your body, the more your body will want it. Yes. So it's a training of your palate to want these foods. Um, and I also want to say this from a God level, I guess from a spiritual side.
Mhm.
We're given this body that we're living in. Our soul is in there. We're doing life with this body, this shell that God has given us. And we want it. We want our bodies to do the things we want it to do. Like when we get up and go walk, we expect our legs to walk, and we expect that. we take it for granted. God has given us this gift, but we don't honor it. Like collectively as a whole, we don't honor it. We don't think about it. We take it for granted, but it is what God has given us. And I say it's important to honor the God in us, what God has given us, by treating that vessel with respect, like you would treat someone else with respect. Treating yourself with respect means that you're giving yourself the fuel and the tools that you need to thrive. And then by that, you are honoring who you are, what God has given you. To whom much is given, much is required. You were given this as a gift. And you know, and I know that if we disrespect this gift that we've been given, it will get us. It will show up in blood pressure, blood sugar, all of the things that then stop us from living our best life. It stops us from healing. It stops us from living our purpose. How many people do you know that are phenomenal folk, but they don't have the energy? They can't walk. They're always in the hospital. They're taking medication. They're not able to shine their light on the world because they didn't honor their temple. So
yeah, and I'm glad you said it, because one of the things that I tell people sometime, I ask them a question, would you burn down a church?
right.
And of course they're like, no, I wouldn't. So, well, would you flood a church? I'm like, no, I wouldn't. Well, would you put parasites within a church and so that it eats it from the inside out? No, of course I wouldn't. Well, the Bible
Right.
says your body is a temple. So your
Honey,
body is your church.
we
So when
don't
you're
think about
smoking
it.
too much, when you're drinking, when you're being unhealthy, that's what you're doing to your temple. You're destroying it, purposely,
Yeah.
probably without thinking about it, probably without, having it at the forefront of your mind, but yet and still you're doing it on a day-to-day basis.
That's the message, Ernest. That's the message. And so, so many of us are God fearing, we say,
Mhm.
and it was a perfect analogy. We have so much respect for out there, right? But not in here. And we pray, right? We pray for healing. We pray for all these things. God gives us what we pray for, but we're like, I don't see that.
Mhm.
I'm
Right,
doing.
right.
No, I'm like, okay, you're praying. You're praying the sick and shut in, right? You're praying for them, and there's answers, but you're like, I don't. I'm praying, but and it's like people. I always say, what you think about, you bring about. So, and what you are desiring, it is desiring you too. So, if
Mhm.
you really are desiring a shift in your life and you want that, God will bring people in your life. You might not recognize them, though. You might ignore them. You might not listen to them, but they're there based on your prayers, based on your requests, based on your energy. They show up. Now, can you recognize it is the question? Because I've seen it a lot where I've prayed for something and I'm like, what is that? This, and then like, yeah, that's what you prayed for. It just doesn't look like that.
Right.
It just doesn't look like what you
Yeah.
recognize. But I say that to people that are listening. It is the house that which you were given to house your soul and your spirit. And yes, if you would not burn down the church and flood the church and put, bugs and roaches in the church, and then, but you would do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about nutrition, and of course, like I said, I'm not a you're the first nutritionist that I've met, so I got
Which
to
is
ask
which
you
is
these
an
questions.
honor, I tell you. Thank you. I mean, I'm honored. There's so many of us. There's so many of so
So
many of
when we think about nutrition, at least me, when I think about nutrition, I think about vitamins and all of that. And
us.
so I really don't know the difference between them. Like I got vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, whatever, whatever. And I'm like,
Right.
all right, what do we need? And
You need.
you know what I mean?
I'll
And
tell
what
you.
are they? I don't even know what this is. You want me to take it? I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. So, gosh. Okay. I'm going to see if I can make this answer succinct. Because, Ernest, there's a lot going on in our world, meaning
Mhm.
that a lot of things are driven by money, right?
Right.
A lot of things are driven by
Mhm.
money. And so you can't believe everything that is being said or told or given to you, because you have to look
Mhm.
at what's the agenda of the person. And people want to make money. So as far as supplements, so let me just tell you what I recommend, and only these things. I recommend vitamin D3 because, and I want to say this about vitamin D3, it is the sunshine vitamin. And a lot of people are low, and people of color are like 70% of us are low in that supplement. And that supplement, which is very easy to get, cost effective, can help us with anxiety, inflammation, with insulin stabilization, so many things. So it's very simple, right? That's the number one thing I recommend. Just put that in, do that. And then number two is I recommend, I take fruits and vegetables in a capsule. I don't take a multivitamin. I'm not going to go all into that, but I just do those. I take vitamin D, I take fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and I take an omega. And that's it. That's it. And so people are like, well, do I need this? Do I need iron? When I outline it, because I always say, do these things consistently and then take an assessment. Don't put all these things in your body because you don't know where they came from. You don't know what's really in it, because supplements are not regulated. You can do whatever. People will go on Amazon and just buy whatever because it's cheaper. That's not always the best at all. So those are the things I recommend. That's it. And then I always help people shift a little bit about what they're eating. And then I say, do those things consistently for 4 months. Why 4 months? Because we know that the body and the blood changes in that time. And it's like, don't do too many things and then you don't know what's working. Do one thing, do the second thing, do the third thing, make an assessment, and then see where you are. And that's how I help people the best. It's because people are confused. Where do I start? What do I do? Step 1, step 2, step 3, take the assessment and see how you feel. Because all of us want to feel good. We want to look good. And if we know our purpose, we want to fulfill that. And food is significant in doing that, but also confusing. So my intention is to help demystify and simplify what a person can do and do that in steps. And I also want to say that, good health is not necessarily free. It's not free. So it's sometimes it's like you pay now or you're going to pay later. Right. So I recommend high quality things because it keeps you out of the doctor's office. And I stand behind what I know. I've been doing this 14 years, and I've seen phenomenal changes with very simple changes.
Yeah. And I know one of the things that you mentioned earlier was like when you change your food, is like you're changing a large part of yourself. And so when I think about like the personal development, when you first get into personal development, the first thing you have to change is your mindset. How do you think about it? And all the time, and this is I even tell my sons, right? Because I'm definitely into personal development, and now that they are young adults, I try to push it a little more on them. Like, okay, you need to really pay attention to what you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're reading, all of those things. And one of the things that I tell them, because like I send them videos, like inspirational, motivational videos, and I'm like, I know you don't want to watch it. Right. And then one of the reasons why you don't want to watch it is because you don't watch it. You know what I mean? But when you start watching it and you start feeding your mind this, this knowledge and this wisdom, then you start to crave it. And so that goes back to even what you were saying with your body. Like, when you first get started, you're not going to like the vegetables. You're not going to like the carrots, which I don't like at all. But the more you feed it and then your body starts changing to it, and especially when you start noticing the change, even in your bowel movements and how you're feeling and, the energy that you have, then your body start craving it. And now, you've created a new habit for yourself, which is eating healthy. And now you're like, all right, I'm good.
I laugh because I have people say, I don't like vegetables. And I'm like, none of them? Like, there's a whole bunch of vegetables. Like, you eat them all? Like, all of them? And yeah, people's like, I don't like them. And so I help people to expand their understanding of, you know, what vegetables can be. And there's a lot of them like that people don't try. But like I said, I also take them in capsules for people who don't want to eat them. It's like bridging the gap. It's an easy way to do it. But there are a lot of vegetables. It is personal development. Doing as you put the, I would say, the positive nutrition in your mind where you're reading the books and the tapes. I always, and I say this, read, watch, and listen to only those things that are in alignment with the person you want to be, right?
Mhm.
Mentally, but then physically, are you then feeding your body in alignment with the person that you want to be? The challenge is sometimes, and this is true for personal development, where you want to elevate and go to the next level, you may have to leave some people behind. You may have to
Mhm.
change your circle because they're not in alignment. The same thing with your food, because I'm going to tell you, and this is when I go to eat with someone who's eating chicken wings and french fries, and I'm over here eating salmon and broccoli. Nobody ever asked me, can they have a piece of my broccoli and my salmon? Never. And I'm always over there like, can I get can I get a fry? Can I get a chicken wing? Right? And so I realized like, okay, they're pulling me in. And so when I go to eat then with others, that we have a big salad and we're, you know, having all these different, we'll say, healthy, life-giving foods,
Mhm.
then I can eat off their plate. They eat off my plate. I'm not tempted to dip my french fry in, you know, this hot buffalo sauce or anything like that. It's a space. And then we have this tribe and we thrive that way. And then I feel like let's say I'm with folks that are eating healthy, and then I come in with my, you know, fried chicken or, you know, whatever, tater tot or hush puppies or what have you, then I kind of feel like, dang, I'm around them, and then I feel like maybe I should eat like them. And that's the same. People will either, they're pulling you in, however you want to do it. So if you find your tribe based on who you want to be, connecting with that tribe, and they'll pull you there mentally, physically, spiritually, all of those things, they will pull you into that space. And that's where we have to decide, who do we want to be? How do we want to show up? How do we want to eat? There are a whole bunch of people that actually eat life giving foods
Mhm.
all the time as a way of life. And I always want to tell people, I promise you, I love peach cobbler. I love, as I said, hot chicken wings and french fries and everything that I love that everybody loves because it tastes good. But
Mhm.
I know that it doesn't serve the the God in me. Doesn't. I
Yeah.
do it. I have a calendar that I call it my dessert day or my fun food
Now, I
day.
was you got your cheat day on there.
I'm like, oh, and then I'm all in. Like I feel I'm excited about everything, and I
Mhm.
feel no guilt, and I go all in. But then I like, okay, let me bounce back into the things that give me life, because I feel good when I do good. You
Mhm.
understand? Like when I do good, I feel good. Like I feel like I can do all any and everything. But when I feel sluggish and I'm tired and I got the itis, right? You eat and you like, "Ugh, I just want to lay down," then I'm not productive. And once I got a understanding of that, it's empowering. It's empowering. Yeah.
Yeah, you just reminded me of a quote that I think it was Deion Sanders said back in
Uh,
the days, and he
mhm.
said, "When you look good, you feel good. When you
Yeah.
feel good, you play good. When you
Yeah.
play good, they pay good." You know.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
And I like that.
but in the
Right.
end, you gonna get
Hmm.
what you want. You know.
Then
So
get what you
yeah,
want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Hmm.
Oh man, this has been a good. This has been good. I had another question I wanted to ask you, and now I can't think about what it was.
I know. We just get on it. We just get going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't think of what my question was.
I don't know.
Anyway, but this has been good. This has been
Thank
a
you.
good conversation, and I know one of the things I wanted to ask you about
Hmm.
because I know you said you recommend vitamin D,
Hmm.
but you also have a vitamin D company. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, I do. I do. So my company's been around for 14 years,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm black, right? And I'm one of the I don't know any
Are
other.
you? I don't, I can tell.
I would I say this, and I look in the cabinet, and I always challenge folks that are black or not black, go look in your cabinet and how many products are produced by a black person at all, like very none or very little. And so we are a black owned company that produces high quality vitamin D. And why do we produce vitamin D? Like why vitamin D? Like why? Because I know it's easy, it's cost effective, and it's critical to human health. And it's something honestly that goes missed. Like as people of color, we're more deficient. It's an easy deficiency to have, and it's an easy deficiency not to have. And I thought, I'm going to own that space. I'm going to own that space whereby we're in your household, but we're also doing good and well in your body in a simple way.
Mm,
Also, when I would say when people buy from Necessary Nutrition, we're not just your vitamin D supplier. The customers can ask questions. We have an email available. People want to know. We also do classes that are free for those that buy from us with other experts. We just want people to live their best life as you do and not be confused about what to do. So, but the answer is yes, my company produces vitamin D3. Yes.
okay, good, good, good. So one more question, and this is
Okay.
for me personally. So I
Yeah.
know that a lot of vitamins, and I think you mentioned earlier that you guys vitamins come in a capsule. I can't do capsules. I can do
Yeah.
liquids. So
Yeah.
do vitamin D come in a liquid where I can just like take a spoonful a day and
Yeah.
be
So
good?
vitamin D does, let me say this. Vitamin D comes from, you can get it from the sun. Okay.
Mhm.
You can get it from the sun, and there's foods that you can get it from, but usually we're not out in the sun and we don't get enough. The capsule that we have is very, very tiny. It's super tiny. It's a soft gel. So it's not very big, but if you don't like any kind of swallowing
Yeah.
anything, there are liquids. We do not have them. And there are chewables. We do not have vitamin D in those forms. And there's a reason why, but the caps, it's a tiny soft gel, is effective and very absorbable. So, but it is a tiny soft gel. I wish I had a picture of it. I'd show it to
Mhm.
you. I usually do. But anyways,
Okay.
and then some of our other products, our fruits and vegetables that we recommend come in chewable. So that's exciting. We do have
Okay.
fruits and vegetables, but the D, it is a soft gel. That is
So
correct.
is that something that you would take on a daily basis, or would it be like
Yeah.
every other day? So it's a daily.
Yeah, so it's daily, and it is really based on initially weight, how much people need. And I'll
Mm,
say this because there's a lot of education that goes into it, which I love because a lot of people are just, they don't know. And I love to talk about it. On my website, under education, I recorded some small videos that speak to how much to take, when to take, why to take, how do you know if you're low, and all of those things. But generally speaking, I say yes, take one little soft gel daily. Uh, let's not get too technical. There's different dosages, right?
mhm,
There's different amounts that people can take. And we sell 5,000 what's called IUs because we know people are so deficient. And that is a good amount to start with to do daily. But for you, and I don't know how much you weigh, I can only see you there. You
mhm.
might need two a day, depending. And I have on my website a calculation under education where people can look at their weight and figure out how much they need. But one a day will get you started, for sure. One a day. Yep.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Robin, I want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you
You're
for coming
welcome.
on. Thank you. Definitely gave us a lot of information.
Yeah.
Definitely some of it that I'm going to look into myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you have the last word. So
Oh my
think of
goodness.
something I don't know, something you want to leave with us, and definitely give us your uh, definitely your company information, or or any um, social media handles or anything like that that you want us to have. So you could think about that real quick. For everyone else, our the listeners, thank you guys for tuning in again to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Definitely check out our other, not only our podcast, but definitely Deal to Heal tees. You know, if you're looking for inspiration every day, wear a uh, inspirational tee and be inspired all day. We got inspirational teas. We got some other things coming. We got some ebooks coming, you know, and also the physical book coming. So definitely got some things coming. So you guys definitely want to follow us on Facebook. That way you can stay in the loop and in the know of everything that we got coming up, including workshops and things like that. So, Robin, the floor is yours. You can take us out.
So I want to summarize or reiterate what I said before, that food will either kill you or keep you alive. And that the illnesses and diseases you face are due in part to what you put in your mouth or what you don't put in your mouth, right? Mm-hmm. And if I had to say, and I am saying that whatever you're doing now, those that are listening, add some more vegetables, add some more greens or, you know, lettuce or cabbage to what you're doing. That one thing. I'm going to put in a plug for our vitamin D. Go to the Necessary Nutrition website and take a look. Our website, you can Google Necessary Nutrition and we'll come up. Our website is nessynutri.com. People want to call me Nessie. So NESSYNUTRI.com. Same on social media at Nessie Nutri. So you can follow me on IG. I feel like I'm kind of new to the IG world since the pandemic. Like before the pandemic, we were doing more live in person, and so I wasn't playing around with social media as much. But on my social media, I do share nutrition tips, but also I would say life information on life design, right? Is not just the food part, but I would say the mental nutrition part of it. So I always post something in that space. And I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to be here. And I just want everybody to know that you're powerful beyond maybe what you know, and that we're all here to fulfill a purpose. And so our job is to figure out what that is. And in doing so, respect the temple that you've been given a little bit more than you were yesterday, right? Just a little bit.
Right.
Move into that. So I think that's it. I could always say a lot of stuff, but that's it.
That was good. That was good. Can't end it no other way. All right, everyone. Again, to all my listeners, thank you very much for tuning in. This is the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, and our mission is to help people to deal, to heal, and to fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. So until next time, we will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I know you're enjoying the podcast. However, don't forget to join our text line at 866-326-0730. That's 866-326-0730 in order to receive text messages with new events and things that is going on and new episodes as they release. All right, see you in a minute. Thanks for listening to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Remember to listen, like, subscribe, and share. This episode has been brought to you by Deal to Heal Teas. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tea and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. Remember, our mission is to help you to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for listening.